Good Saturday morning, Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with a Hokey video blog update. We are talking about a return to summer over the next several days. In fact, we've got a lot of events going on this weekend, so that return to summer kind of going right in step with that. We've even got a few storm chances we'll need to talk about as well. Let's talk first about today's Hokey weather fact, and speaking of storm chances, we're talking about lightning. Roughly 1/4 of all lightning strikes reach the ground, which you're probably saying, all right, well that means 3/4 of all lightning strikes occur within the cloud and don't touch the ground. That's correct, but don't get complacent because the ones that do strike the ground can sometimes be these positive lightning strikes, and those are really super powerful, very deadly as well. So when thunder roars, go indoors. That's what we tell everybody across, not even just wave country, but across the country when it comes to thunderstorms. Outside this morning, partly cloudy skies from our Kentucky One Health SkyTrack camera in Jeffersonville. You'll notice a few of those light radar returns off to our northwest near Champaign, Illinois. Those will not be affecting us this morning. In fact, we've got plenty of clouds over southern Indiana right now. That's going to help to stabilize things a little bit, but when I was outside at Splat Out Cancer earlier with Don G, started to see some of those puffy cumulus clouds developing under that blanket of cirrus clouds. So we're getting some clouds underneath those cirrus clouds that the satellite can't yet see. And that's good to know, it's good to see, because that tells us that we're already starting to get a little bit of heating, a little bit of convection going for isolated thunderstorms this afternoon. They're going to be triggered by the increasing humidity from the Gulf of Mexico, that moist air, coupled with some very small disturbances aloft. It's going to be hard to get things going this afternoon, but most of the high-resolution models indicating that the Kentucky side of the river is most primed to see an isolated storm or two this afternoon. That seems pretty good given the satellite view. Things are clearing out there, so we'd be able to get more heating occurring on the Kentucky side of the river as opposed to the Indiana side. Here's Futurecast by 10 o'clock this morning. Got a few clouds in there just like right now. 84 by noontime. Brunch, lunch plans, you're fine. No umbrella needed during that time frame. But by 2 o'clock, here it goes, right along and south of the Ohio River, a few of those isolated thunderstorms. Most folks will be staying dry today. We've got a 20% storm chance, but there's an 80% chance that you won't see rain. Now, this is by area, of course. So only 20% of our viewing area, of our 29 counties, seeing the rain today. The other 80% staying pretty dry. Isolated downpour, isolated gust of wind, that's about all we'll see. Severe weather, just not possible today, I don't think. As we go throughout 4:30, still hanging on to a few of those isolated showers, maybe a storm, but after that, we're done. And I think we'll hold on to the shower chance only through mid-evening before everything tapers off, and we will be nice and dry for most of the overnight hours. Folks who are not dry include those over Hispaniola, where they've just experienced the effects of Tropical Storm Erica, only the northern side. This thing has been a bear to forecast. If you've noticed the westward shift in the forecast cone over the last several days, you're not alone. The reason for this is it is weaker than forecast, and when you get a weak storm, it wants to move west. Now, when it moves west, it throws off, of course, the forecast models. Most of those forecast cones that you've seen from the National Hurricane Center have not even matched the current position of the storm. I mean, that's how crazy this is in terms of the discrepancy between the model data and between what we're actually seeing on the satellite. There it is, right there. I mean, it's almost drifting south at this point. This is how crazy this is. It's trying to get a new center of circulation. Looks like it's kind of split in two. Not a really good organized storm. You want symmetry for a good storm. We're not seeing any symmetry. When you get this lopsidedness, it's probably on its deathbed. It would not shock me to see this thing downgraded to a tropical depression pretty darn soon. There was a Hurricane Hunters mission that just left from Miami, and they're traveling on down toward the storm as we speak to put in the data for the next advisory. So we'll see how that goes. At this point, I don't think it's going to be a huge deal. Now, the reason we're at least talking about this at all is because so much heavy rain from this storm can cause problems on its own. And we're talking about it still because not only will the heavy rain affect likely parts of Florida, maybe even on over to the Mississippi Gulf Coast the way it's looking now, it may affect the Louisville area as well. But we'll just have to see how it stays together, because it's not a real good bet at this point of even staying together to the tropical storm phase of it over Cuba. It may get ripped up over the Cuban island there. We'll see how that goes. It's forecast, though, if it does survive, to re-strengthen into a tropical storm, though, as we get throughout Monday through Wednesday. You'll see the times there listed on the right. 45-mile-per-hour winds by Wednesday at 2 a.m. Once it comes inland, it would weaken considerably. So we may see some rain from this, but the models at this point saying probably not. So keep that in your back pocket. There are some of the forecast models. You can see GFDL, of course, trying to put it in here, as well as the AVN model, which is a derivative of the GFS. The Canadian, the CFC, taking it offshore. And then we've got a suite of models here trying to take it toward the Texas Gulf Coast. Reality, as I always say, is probably somewhere in the middle, so we may see it Alabama or Mississippi Gulf Coast based on that western movement there. So that's enough tropics for one day, don't you think? Here's a 7-day breakdown. You'll notice that we've got Splat Out Cancer this afternoon. Come down and see us there. It's only $25. Proceeds go to benefit the James Graham Brown Cancer Center research and treatment. And everything's been paid for. All the sponsorships have paid for everything down there. Your dollars go directly to the research and the treatment. They don't go to cover the supplies. They don't go to any corporation or anything like that. This is the best one-to-one charity event you could probably get. And it's right here. It's a locally driven event here in Metro Louisville. 539 West Market Street starts at 11 a.m. By 4 o'clock, we've got a small storm chance in there, high of 88, but I think most folks will be all right, especially if you're heading out to the Louisville Zombie Attack Walk, and that starts at 8:29 this evening, and it's to celebrate Michael Jackson's birthday. I didn't know that until just now, and I've been living here almost 25 years. Can you believe that? Anyway, south winds as we go throughout that event. Very small storm chance. It should taper off, though, as we head throughout the late night hours. Now, as we head throughout your Sunday, that is going to be the last day of the Kentucky State Fair. If you haven't enjoyed it yet, get out there. Noon to 9 p.m. You'll notice temperatures in the 80s, mid-80s. We've got a better scattered storm chance during that time, but guess what? The Kentucky State Fair is the largest indoor state fair in North America. So, if it rains, who cares? Maybe you're getting back to your car back and forth. That might be a pain. Just take an umbrella if you're going out there, though, tomorrow. Should be a good day for it. By Monday, though, smaller storm chance, higher temperatures. So if you're sending the kiddos back to school, they likely won't need the jacket that they needed in the mornings this past week. They'll probably be all right with the T-shirt and shorts, or if they're in their uniform, certainly just the shorts there as well. The rest of the week, 90s. Yeah, we've got this big ridge of high pressure that's going to be sitting over us starting about Tuesday or so, and that moves all the way through to the 6th or the 7th of September. Yeah, it's going to be a long duration event. You'll see that trough here. This is the GFS model painting that trough over the eastern U.S., or I should say that ridge. My goodness, it's a ridge of high pressure. Whew. Man, I've been crazy this morning. I think we've been doing live shots. We've been doing the news for a couple hours, so I'm all over the place. All right, so it's a ridge of high pressure over the eastern United States. You can see it's kind of a ridge that extends over to the western U.S. as well. This may be what's called a dirty ridge, though. No, it's something that can clear broadcast television. It's nothing bad. But that means that we may get some thunderstorms that may try to develop within that. That's why I put a 10 to 20% chance of storms in here later next week. Now, if you're traveling down to Atlanta for the first football game of the season against Auburn, 92 degrees, 30% storm chance there in central Georgia. That's all I got for you right now. Andy's back here at 6 and 11 tonight. I'll be back with you starting tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. on Wave 3 News Sunrise, the Sunday edition. Have a great Saturday, and come out to Splat Out Cancer.